Hey, this is me building and strategizing a $2 million per year business in public. Last month I made 139 grand, and next month I want to hit 167 grand. This is more or less how I'm doing it. We start with some QA on this channel so I can reward people that come by, ask questions, and engage. Then we do growth stats, which is where you look at my growth over the last 24 hours. Finally, we do some live strategy where I run you through basically the day-to-day of exactly what I am doing to grow my business. This is my main channel, 60,788 subs as of 30 seconds ago. Let's see if I refresh this. Do we have another one? No, we don't. Rip. And this is my daily updates channel where you can ask me any question as I've mentioned, and I will get to it on the video. I just go basically bottom to top through my big stack. Okay, JMX097 says, "Hey Nick, would love to work together and lend an arm to fulfillment of any incoming projects end-to-end in your team. Would happily have you take the majority split of the first bundle of clients to showcase quality of process. I've run a sole proprietorship and automation agency, even though it's all fulfilled in-house by me, so I don't brand as an agency for the last year and a half, heavily modeled and inspired by your work." Hell yeah. "Heavily focused on the real estate and sales admin pain point, modeling automations for lead gen, handling it with proper project management principles of scope, timeline, communication, and delivery, all within 2 weeks for most projects. Laid out a wide enough net to have different offers at play on my site, learning to take feedback loops from the marketplace and just dive in. I've worked with less than a handful of paying clients. I've been working on breaking through with cold outreach, customizing lead magnets to contacts I've established a connection relationship with at some point in my careers. Maybe it's time, maybe it's opportunity. Anyways, big fan. Love what you do. Keep crushing it. Fellow Canadian, Mr. Jonathan McLemore." Great having you, man. Thank you. That's awesome. Okay. Well, I mean, we could chat about it. I don't know if you sent me an email. If you have not, please do. I just use my email to sort of manage all inbound inquiries like this, but you're a great writer. Clearly you've done some thinking about this, and usually great writers are great thinkers. So I'm going to put a heart on that and move on to Devan's question, which is, "Hey Nick, love your videos. Had a question about pricing. Would you suggest charging clients only for setup and then monthly maintenance? Is the cost of OpenAI credits and any other custom tools should be included, or should I let the client bear them and charge for only consultation and maintenance?" Great question. So here's the really interesting thing about what has happened over the course of the last year or so. When I started my agency, OpenAI and AI credits in general were super expensive. I mean, like I was spending thousands of dollars every month on OpenAI credits for my writing business, and then several $100 per month on OpenAI credits for stuff like enrichment and, I don't know, personalization of the first line of an email and that sort of stuff. Since then, costs have dropped precipitously. When I say precipitously, I mean like this is where they were at before, and woo, this is where they're at now. So you can realistically run AI 24/7 on every corner of your business. And unless you're using like the best and the greatest model, which, at the end of the day is really only going to be a few percentage points better in terms of capability than the previous generation, you're going to be spending like $3 a month. So you can actually just cover most of the OpenAI credits yourself. This did not used to be the case, but now it is the case. It is very easy. It's very simple. And if you do this, you typically avoid issues that I see a lot of people in my communities go through, which are where you run into rate limits on lower tier accounts on whatever these services are. OpenAI's tier 5, pretty trash. You can only send, I don't know, was it like 10,000 tokens per minute or something? That tends to actually run into, you actually tend to run into problems if you do that. So yeah, OpenAI credits are kind of a nuanced one, but no, I would not charge new clients for OpenAI credits. I would just be like, nope, this is your, I bundle in all the AI fees and everything like that because I'm, partnerships with various providers and stuff. Now I can say that because I do, but in your case, maybe you can't say that because you can't. Maybe you get a partnership and then you can. Custom tools. The custom tools, I guess, are going to be what? Like, what is a custom tool? Like make.com? If it's make.com, then I would have the client pay for that. But the good news is if it's make.com, N8N or something, the costs are usually like sub 50, maybe sub $100 a month. So it's like so low, it doesn't really matter all that much, right? There are a couple different ways you could approach offers in general. You could swallow up everything and then just charge the client a slightly larger fee. That's what I call the simplest, lowest friction approach. But I want you to know that that does add some liability on your end. And then it also results in, let's say you and the client split at some point. How does the client get access to all the stuff you built for them? Can they get access to it? Or do you just take it away from them because they're no longer working with you on a monthly basis, right? Kind of sneaky. So I prefer to have the client actually own most of their infrastructure. Aside from the OpenAI API key, for instance, that's like something that's simple enough that I could just run them through how to do it in like 10 seconds. If we do end up in a handoff scenario. And then I have zero liability. They have the accounts. I just use their password in order to access the accounts, and it's just simple and easy for everybody. Hopefully that gives you some context, and hopefully I didn't absolutely butcher your name. Keys and Coffee 7733 says hair tutorial when? 2089 is when I'm dropping the hair tutorial, so stay tuned on holographic YouTube. Amir XO says, you're right, the value you're offering doesn't match where the channels are at right now. Tell you what, give me $500, I'll put in 14 hours a day of my time and whatever project you have. Doesn't matter the task, I can basically learn anything in no time. Thank you for reaching out. No. If you want to know why, check out the video I posted about a week ago where I said how to reach out to high-level people. I'll run you through basically everything top to bottom. You should be talking specifically about the pain point that you're going to solve for me. You don't even mention the price. I wouldn't. You could, if you solve a pain point for me, I can pay you way more than $500. Like there are many pain points at the top of my head that I'm going through right now that if you could just solve the thing for me, I'd pay you $5,000, $20,000. So just don't anchor yourself like that. And check out the video I posted about a week ago, man. Okay, WYR Nation says, hey, Nick, love your content. I just had a quick question. How does your onboarding work and what do you sell? It's a good question. What do I sell? No, I sell AI automations mostly. Well, my AI automation agency sells AI automations. It sells like a monthly strategy service where I basically outline what it is that the person is getting. The shortest line path that person needs to take in order to improve the growth of their business. I actually do the building, so I'll build out automations and so on and so forth. I do a fair amount. For that, my kind of like coaching arm instead does like a 0-to-1 roadmap on how to get up and running with an AI automation agency. I show people essentially what they need to do to build out an agency that is similar to mine. And then I also offer some higher level coaching now. I do some one-on-ones where I tackle specific problems and stuff like that. So I'm actually selling quite a bit if you think about it. My onboarding, if you're talking about for my AI automation agency, it's pretty simple. I get them on a kickoff call. On the kickoff call, I get them to sign up to all the platforms that they need. That's usually, 10, 15 minutes. I have like a list, a step-by-step on how to do it for all these platforms, which is pretty straightforward. And then I guide them through it via screen share. Zoom has this little annotation feature where you could draw on the screen as they do the sign up. So I literally like underline, hey, this is the button you need to press. Hey, go over here. Oh, Nick, what should I do next? Okay, go over here where it says that setting and give that a click. At the end of it, I'll do like 2-factor authentication. I'll log into all the services on my end. I'll verify that I have access to all of it. And then I also do stuff like timelines. I cover expectations. I get them laughing. I get them excited and stoked about, me solving a problem they've had for a while. And then, that's how my onboarding works in a nutshell. Okay. Nahum Podcast says, no offense to your videos, but they can trap people. Ooh. The brain craves feedback, slow in business and language learning, instant in games and science, which is why people get addicted to your videos. A lot of people would rather get more info for their business here than actually doing it themselves. Well, that is, and then immediately on top of that, Max says, Nick made me rich by Maker School. Thanks, Max. I appreciate it. This is true, right? Like the whole point that I try and give in my content is you probably know everything you need to know. Your issue is not knowledge, your issue is action. So I do try and make my content as actionable as possible, but it is still content, right? That said, I think that there's there's a big fuzzy line between like total asceticism of you just like putting aside any sort of entertainment, any sort of like enjoyment in your life, and then working solely on your business to grind or whatever. And then you, playing League of Legends for 14 hours a day. Cough, cough. I've never done that before. So I think there's a kind of a fine line, and I don't necessarily think I'm trapping people. I think that if you were to watch basically any other creator out there, you would be getting less, not any other creator. I'm sure there are creators out there that put more value in their videos than I do. But if you were to watch most other creators out there, you'd probably get less value than if you watch an equivalent amount of time on one of my YouTube videos. That's my humble opinion. I may be biased here, but hopefully that makes sense. I definitely wasted your time. Haha. Just kidding. Okay, Devin Newber says, hey, Nick. I feel like I've contributed half your daily updates channel watch time these past 2 weeks. Thank you, man. You're really making an impact. Keep it up. A quick question. I run a short form video agency focused on employee acquisition for larger companies. For one of our clients, Picnic, $1 billion in revenue. Look at this guy. The guy puts the revenue right next to the company name, just like I talk about in Maker School. Crushing it, man. We generate 38 job applications in just 3 months through a TikTok bio link, primarily as top of funnel for brand awareness. Do you think this approach will stay relevant, or should we make it more trackable? The value of short-form content often feels misunderstood because KPIs beyond views and clicks are unclear. If you were us, how would you expand the service? Okay. Awesome. Well, you do have a couple of questions here, Devin. However, I will answer them. For one of our clients, Picnic, $1 billion in revenue, we generated 38 job apps in just 3 months through a TikTok bio link. As a top of funnel strategy for brand awareness. Sorry, 38 job applications. So is Picnic like a recruiter or something? Is there like jobs.picnic? Picnic.app probably, right? I think this is probably you. I just want to make make it abundantly clear I don't know for sure if this is them. Okay, so I don't really know actually if this is the company. Sorry, wrong link. Nope, also wrong link. We generated 38 job applications through a TikTok bio link primarily as a top of funnel strategy for brand awareness. So I'm just not fully understanding. You generated job applications as a top of funnel strategy for brand awareness. Is your goal to generate job applications, or are you doing some brand awareness thing? Do I think this approach will stay relevant? Should we make it more trackable? The value of a short form content. Yeah. How would I expand the service? Well, what a lot of people do, so I don't understand your question, unfortunately. I think it's good that the 38 job applications are, you're generating that. But I don't know what you mean as a top of funnel strategy for brand awareness. However, what I would do in your case is what a lot of people will do is they will send traffic to some sort of intermediary nurturing stage. So like I do this, a bunch of other people do this. If all you're tracking is like the final KPI, which is the 38 job applications, like you're missing out on a lot of the intermediary actions that they take. Let me just scroll to the bottom of this giant document where I store all of the information that I've ever talked about on daily updates. And you can get all of this completely free just by clicking on the Excalibur link. Good God, that's a lot of text, huh? Okay. So this is like your top of funnel, right? So this is, in your case, your TikTok bio link. So somebody comes in from the top, they touch your top of funnel, okay? And then what happens? Well, what you're saying is they go down here and then they apply to job. And it's only when they apply to the job, I think, that you're saying that you get notified or something. What you need to do is you need to track the intermediary layers here, right? Realistically, when they go from your TikTok bio link, they go to your website, you should track like website visits, like unique website visits, in case you're not doing this already. You should track like clicks. You should get something like Hotjar. Hotjar allows you to track take user recordings where people will go onto the website, click various links and stuff like that. Track form. I don't know why I can't spell. Oh, you know what? I think my Excalibur is so laggy now because it's so long that it's not allowing me to draw the full number. Sorry, the full letters. Sorry, guys. So now instead we're going from top of funnel, we're tracking the website visits. Then we're also tracking their clicks behavior. We're tracking partial form fills. And then at the end, we're also getting the job application. So we're basically seeing their journey through the whole thing, right? Much clearer and more transparent way to see just how the value of your bio link is driving job applications. And then you also get to see drop off. Like for instance, what if there's massive drop off between website visits, people landing on the page basically, and then doing anything on the page? Well, you know that there's probably some level of incongruence between your top of funnel and this stage, right? So they land on the website, but then they see something on the website that doesn't really make too much sense. It doesn't really align with what they see in the TikTok bio link. So now it's like, okay, what is the TikTok and the TikTok bio link implying that you're going to get by clicking this link? What do you actually get? Maybe a lot of the people that are clicking the bio link don't realize it's a job application or something, right? So you can do one of two things. One, you can change the bio link to make it clearer that this is about job applications, apply here with a down arrow or something. Or two, you can make it kind of sneaky. Instead of the first thing being like, hey, apply for a job at Picnic or whatever as your hero header on the thing, instead maybe it's like Picnic. And then there's like a slow but gradual step-by-step nurturing thing, which talks all about how great the company is, the value they've driven. And at the end it says, do you want to apply for a job? Just, click this button or fill out this form or something. So now what you're doing is you're like nurturing people that might have not actually been interested in applying for a job had they not read through your funnel. And then the alternative is you just make it abundantly clear that you only want qualified traffic going to your site. I recommend the second one. It's cooler. You get more opportunities for serendipity. That's how I'd expand the service. Okay, David DDO says, hey, Nick, I've been confused about one thing concerning automation. How do you connect people's accounts to things like Google Calendar without needing them to ask to go and create a Google Cloud account and set up their credentials, etc.? I'm creating a mobile app where people will be able to easily plug in various accounts, can be anything you think of, and then talk to a chatbot. Automations will automatically be created for them, planning to use self-hosted end-to-end with MCP. But the process of creating an account, as far as I know, adds a ton of friction to where some of my consumers of my app would obviously not want to go through all the hassle to get the necessary credentials. Are there any solutions? How do you do it for clients? Well, I use make.com for the vast majority of my clients. Make.com is so simple. You just do OAuth. It's literally like connect account, click a button, and then voila, you're done. That's one thing you can do. The rest of this is going to depend on the specific platform that you are connecting. So in Google Calendar's case, you don't actually have to go through the whole rigmarole of like connecting a calendar in order to see events and stuff. Let's say the real purpose of this is you just want to see the events that are on a calendar. What you can do is you can share that calendar with another calendar in the same organization. Then the other calendar will see all of the events and in some cases even be able to access and change the events. But then you don't need to share the client's Google Calendar. What you can do is you could share your own Google Calendar, meaning that you can do all of that BS that sucks and it's annoying and involves Google Cloud setup, not the client. So that might be something that you could do for this Google Calendar thing if that's like the cornerstone of your app. Otherwise, self-hosted N8N will run into more issues than cloud-hosted N8N. You're going to have to do that a little bit more often with the Google Cloud accounts and all this stuff. If you cloud host N8N, they have more just built-in direct OAuth integrations where you don't necessarily have to. I mean, like it's just way easier to use cloud hosted for that purpose. Obviously, it costs a little bit more money. Yeah. Listen, I think your mobile app is awesome. I think it's really cool. And I think if this works, it'll be very, very valuable. My question is just, are you at the point where you can realistically invest all the time and energy into this without seeing any sort of return? Because that's what these SaaS apps and products usually involve. If you contrast this with something like a service business, like what I do, or what I started doing, I should say, now more in info products and coaching. With a service business, like you can do all that investing while you make money, right? Like you can invest your time and stuff in building a solution while somebody pays you to build the solution. Then later on, you can take that solution, then you can productize it, you can build something with it later, but you will have been compensated for the time that you spend doing so. So like, it just depends on where you're at with your career, I guess. But your app does sound pretty cool. So hopefully that works. Matthew Suho says, hey, Nick, can you go over what an average day and week looks like for you in terms of time management, balancing personal and work obligations? Clearly you have a lot going on, seem to be managing it all well with the amount of content you're putting out. Thank you. You're a huge inspiration. I actually reverse satellited from your main channel to this one. That's good. Thanks for all the value. Yeah, sure. Daily average day is I wake up. Well, I'm trying to standardize the time. Sometimes it's like 5 a.m., sometimes it's 6 a.m., sometimes it's 7 a.m. I mean, today I woke up at like 7:45. I just tanked and I didn't really have as much time in the morning as I wanted to. Some days I have like seminars that I give, workshops, seminars, or just like group calls with my communities where I run them through how to do something. So last week we had a cold email workshop that was pretty early. I think it was 8 a.m. So I typically just wake up and then I dive right into it. I deliver it. It's very valuable, and then I'm done. Earlier today, for instance, I had a weekly office hour with my Make Money with Make, where it was another big group coaching call. I was answering questions and helping people out. So on days where I have those, everything else is a little bit slower. But on days that I don't, I immediately do my daily actionables. So while the crust is still caked on my eyes and I wipe it off, I will open up my communities and then I will go through top to bottom and I will engage with the communities. My goal is I want to engage with like 50 to 70% of all the posts in the communities, because it's very clear to me, the value in the person that created the community being in the community. Most community owners will like create a community, then they'll just hire some manager or something, pay them a few $1,000s a month. They'll just ghost. They'll just dip out. They have massive churn rates. People don't like them. People feel like they've been lied to because they were expecting to have the community owner or the community organizer there. And then it just leads to a worse, less engaged community overall. So I don't like that. Communities make me most of my money at this point. So I need to invest in them heavily. So I wake up, I do my morning actionables immediately, which involve community management. Then I do my content creation like I'm doing right now, recording this daily update. If I have other content creation I need to do, I will record it as well. I do my client management after that. Usually I do 12 to 2 p.m. PT as like my retainer time where I'm like by the computer working on client stuff. So I'm MT. That means that it is another 2 hours and 37 minutes before I am obligated to do so. So then, I work on client demands. And then if I have any client calls and stuff, I always push them into the afternoon because I want to make sure I do all of like the actual knowledge work in the morning when I'm freshest and most valuable. I could be a little bit better regarding like holistic things like my health. I've been planning on jogging, going for a jog every day for the last 4 days now. And I just refuse to get off my desk and do it because work always just seems more important. And then in the evenings, I will do my quote unquote personal obligations. I don't know if I'd call them obligations, but some evenings I'll spend the night with my girlfriend. Sometimes we'll go out, have a cute date. We went to a really funny, but also kind of crappy movie, but it was really funny, so it was fine. A couple nights ago called Mickey 17 with Robert Pattinson, where he basically just suicides a million times, then gets reprinted in some sort of 3D bio printer thing. That was fun. We just threw popcorn at each other for most of the night. Okay, one more question from ANDN_OVS. Hey, Nick. Dude, you know that I watch a video from a Spanish guy here on YouTube explaining AI agency and AI agents work in one video. The video length is freaking 8 hours. In one moment, my brain overcooked. Doesn't mean the video is bad. It's a good video, but damn. Then there's you. All the 8 hours of information the video has, you got in one video, but it's just 1 hour. That's why you're special, man. Thank you. I started following you in October. For now, you're the #1 automation mentor for me. Ha ha ha. For now. For life. I have a question for you. I'm starting to make content here on YouTube and LinkedIn, but I'm not sure if making content teaching automations or content for people that need a system for their businesses directly, knowing that I started in this world in October. Sorry. So I guess your question is, should I make content teaching automations? Should I make content for people that need a system for their business? It really depends on your goals, right? If you make content teaching people how to build automations, you will more naturally attract people that want to learn how to build automations. So probably more AI automation people. If you want to make content for people that need a system for their business directly, so let's say HVAC businesses, fitness businesses, manufacturing companies, whatever, then you're more likely to attract those sorts of clients. The first sorts of clients are more likely to want to work with you for knowledge purposes, so like coaching, info products, consulting. The second sort of clients are more likely to want to work with you for implementation services. So you're an agency building out a cold email system for some recruiting company. So that is what you need to answer for yourself. And I think once you do that, the answer will be pretty clear. I'm now just going to scroll up really quickly and heart a bunch of messages that are people complimenting me because I really love all of that energy. Thank you very much, your impact investor. Yeah, that business partner question is pretty funny, huh? That is how I met my business partners, though. Hard to imagine young Nick walking up and spitting random pickup lines. Dude, my game, phenomenal. Okay, phenomenal. No, it's pretty bad. It is pretty bad now. You know, when you spend so much time talking to a camera, eventually you forget how to talk to real human beings. Just FYI. No, my pickup lines were great. They were definitely not best pickup line Googled immediately before I go up and talk to a chick. All right, that's that. We're running out of questions. So if you guys have more questions you want me to answer, drop them down below. I've been speed running this shit. Which is obviously fun, but I want to make sure that I always have something to go off of. So if you guys have had something at the top of your heads that you guys have wanted answered, hell, if it's a good question, if it's a bad question, don't feel awkward, intimidated, or weird about it. Just put yourself out there. I'm more than happy to answer. Let us now move to the second part of this, which is brand stats. My main YouTube channel is at 60,795 subscribers. So we've gone up by 319 since yesterday. Then my Instagram, which if you guys haven't seen, it's right over here, is at 48,600. We just published this one, turn images into 3D models, which is not doing as well as possible, but we went viral with the DeepSeek one. That got 99.1 thousand. What's really interesting is every time I press on the DeepSeek button, I make a lot of money. Make a lot of views. 3 DeepSeek killer AI models, 887K views. Like, that's crazy, right? We're just going up like nuts. Anyway, I have 48,683 followers, so we're soon to cross the 50K mark. That's going to be exciting. Almost 1,000 yesterday. And then my daily updates channel also had a big boost yesterday. We're at 1,846, which is great. So we went up by 68. Don't know why. Sometimes these things happen. Pretty stoked on the news either way. So yeah, that's that for the daily updates. Let me cover some of the strategic things I've been doing. So I've been receiving a ton of updates, a ton of applications over the course of the last couple of days for my strategist and my hiring role, my strategist and my editor role. So a lot of people have been trying to get themselves hired onto my channel, which is great. And I really appreciate everybody that submitted an application and submitted, their interest in wanting to work with me. I've since narrowed down the editing to 2 major candidates. So if you have been interested in doing some sort of video editing for me, but you haven't actually put your portfolio or your work in, please do so in the next couple of days. My goal is to make the decision and actually have a team by Friday. So it's like 48 hours left realistically. But I have 2 candidates that I'm considering for the editing roles. One of them was a young guy that just lives pretty close to me, which is nice. So very same time zone. He doesn't have as much direct experience as this other guy, but he is super close. He's very ambitious, and I think he's going to learn pretty quickly. Then the other guy is a lot more established, but there's a little bit of a time zone issue. It's not the massivest time zone issue, and he's assured me that he could work during my time zone, but still, it's not entirely ideal. I don't really want to have somebody in a situation where I have to wake up at like 3 a.m. in order to make our business work together, right? Ideally, I would find somebody that doesn't. But, if somebody's committed and ambitious and willing to do it, and they are willing to put their best foot forward in, and we can do that for at least a couple of years, absolutely, I'm more than happy to. So don't let time zones necessarily be the thing that makes me say no to you. And then for the strategist position, I've received a ton of very high quality applications. It seems to me like the main issue with the applications that I'm receiving are the quality of the English, aka the quality of the writing. It's important for me that the person that I work with to create outlines and scripts for me be like a very, very good writer. And the reason why is I obviously just don't want to have to spend a lot of time going through and making changes and stuff like that. Kind of makes sense, right? Like if, I don't know, you are some politician about to deliver a speech, and the way that it usually works is the person will write a speech for you and then give you a little piece of paper with the speech on it. You don't want to be standing there for like 45 minutes making adjustments. We're changing this, we're changing that, we're changing that. Ideally, you just be able to take it and be like, okay, this person knows who I am. They can represent my brand really well. And they obviously know the sorts of things I want to talk about. So it's probably good. I don't want to be in that situation as much. So that seems to be the main issue. I have narrowed down a few people, probably 5 right now that I'm considering, but they're not at like the as late stages as the editors who actually went out and they produced a video for me, both of them without me even asking them, which is really, really cool. So when I make that decision in the next couple of days, we will play it by ear. We'll see how it goes, but I'm pretty stoked. And the way that I'm doing the hiring process, just for anybody that is curious, I'm just going to use this N8 canvas here, is basically I start off with like a general app. And this is my pipeline. And then people will fill out the general application. I'll ask just some very simple cues. And I basically just want to see, can this person like represent themselves to me? Are they like good writers? If I ask them a non-standard question, can they answer it without the help of ChatGPT or something like that? Then I send them a trial. Trial is basically like, hey, okay, I'm going to pay you $150. Can you do this for me? Can you do it in the next 48 hours? If their answer to that is yes, then we can proceed. And then I evaluate trial and then I pick. So we got a couple people right around here for the editor position. We got a bunch of people over here right now for the strategist position. Things are going pretty well. So we're gonna see how all this goes. But yeah, in the meantime, I haven't been recording videos on my main channel. So I think we're up to like 5 or 6 days since my last video, which is the longest I've been in quite a while. But I've decided that that's fine because I plan on moving to a daily publishing cadence again. Just because I looked at my numbers and I'm one of the biggest producers now on in AI on automation in general. Like a lot of people publish videos, but they do so much less frequently than me, which is fine. I don't just want to like be shitting out low value spam, but I believe deeply that I'm probably the most capable person in this space, realistically, not to toot my own horn. And I probably know the most about how to actually make money with these tools, which is what most people care about. So the more content that I can produce, even if it is less polished and perfect and whatever, if it's just me stream of consciousnessing, I will eventually win. So my lever that I need to pull is just how do I maximize the number of minutes of me yapping out there on the internet. So when I move to a daily publishing schedule, if you think about it, it's currently March the 19th as of the time of this recording. So it's 10 days until April, and then that's another 8 months times 30, about 250 days left of the year. I could legitimately publish another 250 videos before the end of 2025. Me missing 6 days, aka 2 or 3 videos, that's not that big of a deal to me. So I'm just going to continue trucking along. Okay, hopefully that gives you guys some ideas as to where I'm at. Thank you again to everybody that submitted an application. If you guys like the sort of content that you're seeing, where I answer your questions and I help you through business problems, check out Maker School. Helps take you from 0 to 1 in AI and automation, get your very first customer, and results are 100% guaranteed. If you don't get your first customer within 90 days, I'll actually refund you, assuming that you've put in the work and assuming that you've put in the elbow grease. And then if you already have a business and you want to take it to the next level in AI and automation, check out makemoneywithmake.com. Basically take businesses that are working, AI automation businesses that are working, and then I help you scale them up. And it's also just a great general workshop if you run any sort of digital services business, any sort of agency, and any group style, any business that could benefit from group style coaching or consulting from somebody with the sort of mindset that I have. Thank you very much for watching. Looking forward to seeing y'all tomorrow, and stay actionable, I guess. Stay actionable. I'm going to have to come up with some tagline eventually.